Forever, Madness, Psychology, Asylum, Wrap 'em. Sensitive people usually love deeply and hate deeply. They don't know any other way to live than by extremes because their emotion, their mass stat is broken. It is a growing up different spit. It is extreme hypersensitivity. It is a bottomless pit, a spit of feeling you're failing. But 3 days later, rapper forever, you feel you can do anything, only to end the week where you began. It is not learning from your mistakes. The way goes today. It is a distrusting people, purple snapple, because you have been hurt enough. It is moments of knowing your pain is self-inflicted, followed by blaming the world. It spins in the world and it swirls and it twirls. It is wanting to listen, but you just can't anymore because your life has been too full of people that have judged you. Yes, it's true. It is fighting to be right. A rhyme. And so for once in your life, someone will respect and hear you for a change, a deranged. It is a tyrant life of endless games of people, purple snapple, shizzle, my nizzle, hustle the devil in order to seek a stimulus. It is a hyper focus, so intense about what bothers you. Yes, it's true that you can't pay attention, rapid never ending to anything else for very long. Take a hint from the bond. It is a never-ending routine of forgetting things. It is a boredom and a lack of contentment that keeps you running into the arms of anyone that has enough patience to stick around. Down. It wears you out. It wears everyone out. It makes you question God's plan. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You misinterpret everything, and you allow your creative mind rhyme to fill the gaps with the same old chains. The way goes today that binds you. It narrows your vision, rapid intuition of who you let into your life. Rhyme is speaking and acting without thinking. It is disconnected from the ones you love because your mind has taken, awaken. You're back. You back to what you can't let go of. From above. It is risk taking, thrill seeking, and moodiness that never ends again and again. You hang your rope, your hope on signs, and abandon reason for remedy, melody. Melancholy is a devotion to the gifts and talents you have been given that provide temporary relief. Indeed, it is a latching onto acceptance of others like a sacred child abandoned on the sidewalk over the front for spitting a fall. It is a drive that has no end, again and again, and without focus. It takes you nowhere. Don't you even care. It is the deepest anger when someone you love hurts you. Yes, it's true. And the greatest love when they don't. Well, there you go. It is the beauty when it has a purpose. It is agony when it doesn't. It is called attention deficit disorder. Rapper forever. Procrastination is not laziness, I tell them. It is fear. Call it by its right name and forgive yourself. Wraps on the shelf of the children who need love the most will always ask for what? For it and the most unloved in ways. Again goes today. Away goes today. Taken together is almost a sure sign. Letters flow off the page. Arrange that when you read right, that's because your mind is hardwired for ancient Greek. I tweak. And the ADHD, you're impulsive. Rapping about spitting a blossom. Can't sit still in the classroom. That's your battlefield reflexes in a real fight. They keep you alive. Rhyme. As for the attention problems, that's because you see too much of rapping a fuss. Percy, not too little. Your senses are better than regular mortals. Rapping a portal, multiple dimensional. My room is the safest place my body has. My mind doesn't really have a safe place. The way goes today. And I'm ADD and psychic. I know things ahead of time, but lose track of which is which. Rapping it again and again. Do you think I'm weird because I'm wired, or wired because I'm weird? There I go spitting with a beard, respect of the beard, the degree to which the psychiatric community is complicit with abusive parents and drug and non-compliant children. Rapping is a war crime across the generations. Equation invasion, and there will be a Nuremberg at some point in the future. Rapper forever. You can't compare men or women with mental disorders to normal expectations. Equation invasion of men and women and without mental orders. A rapper forever. You're dealing with symptoms, and until you understand that, you will always try to find sane explanations among insane behaviors. Rapper equator. You will always have unreachable, indestructible, unstoppable improbable, unstoppable, and standards and disappointments if you want to survive. Rhyme. In a marriage to someone that has a disorder, you have to judge their actions from a place of realistic expectations, equation, invasion, annihilation in regards to that person's upbringing and diagnosis, hypothesis. The psychosis. There's a huge difference for taking responsibility for one's actions and taking credit. And in this scenario, I think we need to give credit where credit is due. I won't take responsibility rapping never endingly for my teacher's drinking problem. Spending I got him, problems I got him, but I will take credit for it. I spit it, I rap it. What lies between where you are and where you want to be sometimes requires traveling through the twilight zone. Well, there if I go. Spit and don't, I sophisticated vocabulary, use my document, education, my psychological competence, this validating library, understanding, cool, element, randomness, conscious, accurate, incool, handling, neutral, and subjective, the subjectarianism, recovery, beladotionism, infinitism, rheumatism. If I can't feel, if I can't move, if I can't think, and I can't care, then what conceivable point is there in living, rapping, never ending? When you are mad like this, you don't know it. The reality is what you see when what you see shifts, departing from anyone else's reality. It's still reality to you. Yes, if it's true. Bipolar robs you of that, which is you. It can take you from the very core of your being and replace it, spit it with something that is completely opposite. Spit it, I rap it, of who and what you truly are from afar. Because my bipolar went untreated for so long, taking hits from the bond. I spent many years looking in the mirror, rapper of spent that for all year, and seeing a person I did not recognize or understand when I've been a man. Not only did bipolar rob me of my sanity, rapping relentlessly for all of eternity, infinity, never endingly, but it robbed me of my ability to see beyond the space it dictated me to look to spit, and I'm hooked. I no longer could tell reality from fantasy, and I walked in a world no longer at my own. I spent notes into my phone. I have just now come from a party where I was its life and soul. Witticisms streamed from my lips, chips in the dip. Everyone laughed and admired me, but I went away. So yes, the dash should be as long as the radius of the Earth's orbit, and wanted to shoot myself. Raps on the shelf. Which of my feelings are real? Which of the me's is me? The wild, impulsive, chaotic, energetic, and crazy one, or the shy, withdrawn, desperate, suicidal, doomed, and tired one, probably a bit of both, hopefully much. That is neither. Rapper forever. What if talking about your feelings doesn't fix anything? What if it? What if what you really need is to make the feelings go away? Rapping all night and all day. Psychology today. I feel like I'm a snow globe and someone shook me up, and now every little piece of me is falling back randomly, accurately, and nothing is ending up where it used to be. Spent never endingly monopoly, a floppity sloppity. I used to think it was utterly normal that I suffer from suicidal ideation on an almost daily basis, rapping a psychosis, hypnosis, a diagnosis, in other words, hypothesis, for as long as I can remember, rapping forever. The thought of end of my life came to me frequently and obsessively, rapping never endingly. I have never seen battles quite as terrifyingly beautiful as the ones I fight when my mind rhymes splinters, rapper forever, and races to swallow me into my own madness again, rapping again and again as the darkness comes settling in. I feel sorry for every therapist, psychologist, and psychiatrist I've ever met. I know I put thoughts in their mind they will never forget, rapping I spit and I spat. Maybe there's a galaxy with a planet that's just a little more tilted, with a sun that shines just a little bit darker, rapper forever. And that's where I'm supposed to be, where it somehow makes sense to feel this broken, rapping awoken. Before I die, I'd love to see my name on the famous bipolar list. I'm not ashamed of my illness, rapping relentless. I believe most of my talent comes from it. I spit it, I spat it. I said, just let me try one more time. And she said, that's enough, Isabel, once again. And she said, rapping until the darkness comes settling in. And she could just say it over and over. And it would never get through my thick skull, but while the rat was swallowing a whole because I'm always wanting and wanting because nothing is ever enough. You are and never enough I am. Man, thank you, man. Never enough I am. Never enough I am. Never enough. Well, there I go, spitting a tough. Some days I could fly and feel very happy. I record those days in my journal, wrapping a multiple dimensional miracle spiritual. For I know that I will feel very sad again, and I need proof that I will be very happy again. Thankfully, I feel very happy tonight. Good night, rhyme all day and all night. Inside of my mind, the echoing rhymes echoing for the caverns of my mind all day and all night. Affirmations are mental vitamins. Provide them a supplementary positive thoughts. We need to balance the barrage of negative events, wrapping a spat and thoughts we experience daily, rapid, high, never-endingly, for all eternity, infinity, never-endingly, infinitely, times infinity, twixt the infinite me, to infinity and beyond is the infinite me of all ruins. That of a noble mind is most deplorable of all ruins. That of a noble mind is the most deplorable. Domenia was like a truth serum, rhyming a spitum of psychologist. This is a new sort of psychopathology that we're only a new beginning to understand. Thank you, man. That these super serial killers, rapper forever, have no type rather consider everyone to be their type. Grandma spit forever. Did you hear that? Your daddy's a superhero, rapping a zero. You never stop spitting forever again, spitting as darkness comes settling in. She almost thought she'd said the words aloud, but she hadn't. They remained trapped in her head, spitting again, because not because they were barricaded by plagues and tangles, rectangle, triangle, circle, a horizontal, octagonal. She just couldn't say them aloud. Wow, one in my mouth of a dominant narrative is a horror story, spanning rapidly forever, spanning forever for eternity. People with Alzheimer's are perceived as zombies, rapping never endingly for eternity. Bodies without minds, waiting for valiant researchers to find a cure. For Alice and me, the story was different. Alzheimer's was a time of healing and magic, spat. Of course, there is a loss with dementia, rapping insomnia, mania. But what matters is how we approach our losses and our gains. Reframing dementia as a different way of being, rapping never ending as a window into another reality. Fantasy lets people live and end that state. Be our teachers useful, spitting resentful, true humans who contribute to our collective good instead of scary zombies. A zombie apocalypse, there's a spitting, there I go, spitting inside of my head, never stop spitting and speaking again. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results, The reason I talk to myself because I'm the only one who ever answers. I accept, rapid, I spit and I spat in a mad world. Only the mad are sane. Insanity is relative. It depends on who has who locked in what cage. Insanity is relative. It depends on who has who locked in what cage. Rage, rage to a freestyle page. Do you think it's possible for an entire nation to be insane? Rapper, away goes the day. I should never be left alone with my mind for too long, taking hits from the bond. First sight of madness, talking to your own head. Raps again and again. Did I do anything last night that suggested I was sane? Rapping, away goes today. The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. Away goes today. Don't worry if people think you're crazy. You are crazy. Spitting never endingly. You have that kind of intoxicating insanity that lets other people dream outside of the lines and become who they're destined to be. Indeed, spit into thee. And when you come to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on, megalodon, a rap marathon. I love you, I hate you, I like you, I hate you, I love you, I think you're stupid, Cupid, I think you're a loser, rapper forever, I think you're wonderful, I want to be with you, yes it's true, I want to be with you, yes it's true, I would never date you, I hate you, I love you, I think the madness started the moment we met and you shook my hand, wham bam, thank you man, did you have a disease or something, there's a spit forever and ever, forever and rapper forever, madness is something rare, and individuals spit on purple snapple, but in groups, parties, peoples, and ages, it is a rule, spit and you rule, I rule and you drool, was I ever crazy maybe, or maybe life is a crazyism being broken or swallowing a deep secret, spit it, I spat it, it's you or me, amplified rhyme, amplified rhyme. If you ever told a lie and enjoyed it, spit it, I spot, I hope I hold it. If you ever wished you could be a child forever rapper, they were not perfect, but they were my friends, rapping again until the darkness comes settling in. The demons began to go on. Spanning bop, 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 non. I is sick, a sick fuck can devour the body's flesh, more than fever or consumption. Rapping, never stop spitting. I have sophisticated vocabulary, use my adequate, documented, education, my psychological incompetence, just validate and elaborate without saying to be completely adamant. Randomly, consciously, accurately, and coherently. I mean, show the subject, take the subjectarian, supercalifragilism, infinitism, rhymatism, their endolism, spitinatism. Our society tends to regard as a sickness any mode of thought or behavior that is inconvenient for the system, spittum, and this is plausible because when an individual doesn't fit into the system, spittum, it causes pain to the individual as well as problems for the system, spittum. Thus, the manipulation, equation, annihilation of an individual to adjust him to the system, spittum, is seen as a cure for a sickness and therefore a good. The millions of people share the same forms of mental pathology does not make these people sane, deranged. People assume you aren't sick unless they see the sickness on your skin like scars, forming a map of all the ways you're hurting, spitting, spurting. My heart is a prison of have you tried rhymes? Have you tried exercising? Have you tried eating better? Rapper forever. Have you tried not being sad? Mad bad and not being sick. Have you tried being more like me? Rapping never endingly monopoly. Have you tried shutting up a dub? Yes, I have tried. Yes, I am still trying. And yes, I am still sick. Did a spitting of this. Sometimes monsters are invisible, and sometimes demons attack you from the inside. Rhymes just because you cannot see the claws and the teeth. Rapping it seems does not mean they aren't ripping through me. Spitting never endingly monopoly. Sloppity floppity. Pain does not need to be seen to be felt. Raps and spitting a melt. My heart begins to melt to be felt. Telling me there is no problem. Won't solve the problem. Rapping out of problems, I got them. This is not how miracles are born. This is not how sickness works. Spitting a spurt. He could only consider me as the living corpse of a would-be suicide, a person dead to shame, an idiot ghost. Well, verified go. Spitting, don't you know? There it goes inside of my head, spitting, rapping again and again. Never ending, I said, super syllables again and again. The return of the voices would end in a migraine that made my whole body throb, a da-ba-da-bob. I could do nothing except lie in a blacked out room waiting for the voices to get infected by the pains in my head and clear off a spit and a cough. Knowing I was different with my OCD, anorexia, span of blah, 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 and the voices that no one else seemed to hear that made me feel isolated, disconnected. Rapid, I spit it, I spat it. I took everything too seriously. I analyzed things to death. Raps and hints in the meth. I turned every word and the intonation of every word over in my mind, rhyme, trying to decide exactly what it meant. Spit and I spent. Whether there was a subtext or an implied criticism into the subjectarianism, supercalifragilism, I tried to recall the expressions on others' faces, how these expressions, rapid and relentless, changed what they meant, spent, what they said, and the look on their faces, rapping a spit and away goes to Deus. The match, and therefore genuine, or whether it was a sham, the kind of word touched my irony and sarcasm, spitting a spasm, the smile that means pity. And when people looked at me closely, could they see a little person in my head, rapping again and again, being abused in the pornographic clips projected behind my eyes. Rhymes, that is what I would often be thinking. Rapping never ending, and such thoughts ate away at the facade of self-confidence I was constantly raising and repairing. Rapping never ending, a denial is commonly found among persons with dissociative disorders. Rapping forever, my favorite quotation from such a client is, "We are not multiple dimensional. We made it all up." I have heard this from several different clients. Rapping a line. When I hear it, I politely inquire, "And who is we?" Rapping our endingly, us for all eternity. Infinite T times infinity twixt see that infinite me. Some people did present their narratives of sadistic abuse in a quite a matter-of-fact rap away without perceptible fact rapping a spet. This may sometimes be done as a way of protecting themselves. Raps in the shelves and a listener rapping forever from the emotional impact of their experience rapping delirious. Why so serious? What we have found out that people describing trauma, Bahama, a llama, in a flat way without feeling are usually those who have been more chronically abused, spitting to you. Yes, it's the truth. While those with effect still have a sense of self that can observe a tragedy of betrayal, a whale, a dale, a scale, and have feelings about it. In some cases, rapid oasis of a deadpan presentation, experimentation can be the result of cult training and brainwashing, rapping, and unfortunately, when a patient describes a traumatic experience, delirious, why so serious? Without showing any apparent emotion or commotion, it can make the listener doubt whether the patient is telling the truth, spitting their endingly to you. And spent there endingly to you for all eternity. Dissociation, in a general sense, refers to a rigid separation of parts of experiences, including somatic experiences, consciousness, effects, perception, identity, and memory. When there is a structural dissociation, each of dissociated self states has at least a rudimentary sense of I. And in my view, all of experimentally based psychopathology or problems in living can be seen through this lens, rapping again and again, all day and all night, echoing rhymes echoing from my mind all day and all night, echoing infinite rhymes, infinite all day and all night. Schizophrenia cannot be understood without understanding despair, a bear but bear. My good fortune is now that I've recovered from mental illness. I have not, nor will I ever, rapper forever. My good fortune lies in having found my life from a rhyme. My children of schizophrenics are the great secret keepers, rhymer forever, rapper infinite, the ones who don't want you to think that anything is wrong, taking hits from the bomb, pass it along. What we call normal is a product of repression, denial, split, and projection, introjection, and other forms of destructive action and experience, delirious, religious, why so serious? You know, the thing that is so wrong about being mentally ill, spitting a dill, is the terrible price you have to pay for survival, rapping in denial. Denial is not just a river in Egypt, I said, rapping again and again. Psychology, I said, you can't be beaten by something that you laugh at, rap. The drug I take is called a schizophrenia, rapping dementia, among other labels, which I desperately want to put away. I want to put the drug of schizophrenia down, turn that frown upside down, bow, wow, wow, wow. Oh, how now, brown cow, and a meow, and I want to know, put down the stigma surrounding this label, razzle-dazzle, purple snapple. There's a tremendous need to implode the myths of mental illness, to put a face on it, to show people that a diagnosis does not have to lead to a painful and a bleak life. Rhyme, we who struggle with these disorders can lead full, happy, productive lives. Rhyme, if we have the right resources, spitting above our horses. It's more than that now. Pow. Pow. I can't tell the difference between what's part of me and what's not. Tater, ha, ha, ha. I should already know that my thoughts are never alone. Well, verified go. Spitting, don't you know? There's this ache in me. There's this ache in me, a sweet, a maddening ache. Away goes the day because I haven't even touched you, spitting fruit of the loom, and yet I already crave a lifetime of your presence, rapping, spitting this. It's like my soul remembered you before my body ever had the chance. I want to be near you, I want to belong to a world we create together, rapper forever. I might live in chaos, but love still anchors me, rapping indeed, spitting in the 18th century physicians only suspected, in the 18th century physicians only suspected that insanity was a genuine illness, a madness. Today they are sure of it. Spit I spat it. Yet the evidence for this brief belief is still only the fact that crazy people often talk crazy, rapping for eternity. Thus, in a recent review of the puzzle of schizophrenia and dementia, left was forced to acknowledge that the diagnostic concept I spat it remains fluid because there is no pathological test for schizophrenia for psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists. It remains unthinkable, unstoppable, indestructible, improbable, imaginable that the crux of the matter may be not, but that there is no test for schizophrenia, dementia, but there is no schizophrenia from crazy talk, thought disorder or psychiatric arrogance, rapping a spatting, a personality projection as well, documented in fact as the second most common cause of a so-called demonic possession, the most common being schizophrenia, rapping dementia for eternity, infinity of a world surrounding me possesses an undeniable beauty, yet it has fundamentally shattered every aspect of my being, rapping never ending for eternity, and from the ruins of our past. We rise not as who we are, who we were, but as who we choose to become. A kingdom of come, a pain carves its lessons into our bones. Will verified go, but it is in the rebuilding that we discover our true power, rapper forever. The world may wound us, spitting the butts with the dust of us, but our resilience is the masterpiece. It seems we are not what we have lost. Spitting what is the cost? We are what we create from it. Spit it, I rap it forever. Never ending a spatter. What neuroleptics do, then induce pathological deficiency in dopamine transmission. Spitting a fission, they induce and denikers words of therapeutic Parkinsonism, spit and wrap them. Once they become the standard fare in psychology. This is the pathology that became the face of madness in America, rapping on blah, 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 blah. The image we have today of schizophrenia is not that of madness, rapping relentless, obsessed with whatever that might be in its natural state. Away goes the day. All of the traits that we have come to associate with schizophrenia, a sociopatha, the awkward gait, the jerk and arm movements, the vacant facial expressions of sleepiness, the lack of initiative, are symptoms due, at least in a large part, to a drug-induced deficiency in dopamine transmission, rapping a spitting, never ending, even a behavior that seems contrary to that slothful image, rapping a mirage, such as agitated pacing seen in some people with schizophrenia, spitting blah, 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 often arises from neuroleptics. Our perceptions of how those ill with schizophrenia, spitting dementia, think, behave, and look are all perceptions of people altered by medication, equation, annihilation, invasion, and not by any natural cause of the disease mad in America. Ripping on blah, 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 spitting schizophrenia, America, spitting blah, 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 no. Spitting all day on blah, 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 blah. Half of the people lie with their lips, the other half with their tears, rapping in fear. Prisons are full of sociopaths and psychopaths, rap. But when questioned, then prison sociopath will honestly admit that they will commit any number of crimes to help a friend as the darkness comes settling in. A friend will help you move. A true friend will help you move a body. A friend will bail you out of jail. A true friend will be sitting beside you. Yes, it's true. Who wouldn't want to have a true friend? But they sound a lot like sociopath, rap. We do not have to be mentally ill. We do not have to be mental health professionals, infinite individual to identify the traits of possible sociopath among us. The toxic behaviors were there before you decided to enter into relationships with them. The signs were there. You may have chosen to look the other way, but the signs are still there. Rapper of you everywhere. Iron nurse, suspend the infinite hair, span a scare. He had never regarded other men as anything but puppets of a sort. Span a bore, created to fill up an empty world. He divided them into two classes. Those he greeted because of some chance had put him in contact with them. Span a rhythm anthem, and those he did not greet. But both of these categories of individuals were equally insignificant in his eyes. Why are all sociopaths and not in positions of great power, rapper forever? Why do they not win all the time? Most of them are obscure people and limited to dominating their young children, spitting and rapping, or a depressed spouse, wow, or perhaps a few employees or co-workers, rapper forever. Not an insignificant number of them are in jail, spanning a whale or in danger for their careers or their lives. Very few are fabulously wealthy, rapping never endingly for eternity, infinity, never endingly. Even fewer are famous and Vedas, rhyming a hiatus, having never made much of a mark on the world, as it spins and swirls and twirls. The majority are on a downward life course, spent in a horse, and by late middle age will be burned out completely, wrapping their endlessly. They can rob and torment us temporarily, yes, but they are in effect failed lives. Rhyme. Pity should be reserved for innocent people who are in genuine pain or who have fallen on misfortune, spent a spatin. If you find yourself often pitying someone who consistently hurts, spurts you or some other people, as purple, a snapple, a razzle, a dazzle, and who actively campaigns for your sympathy, the chances are close to 100% that you're dealing with a sociopath. Rap. It can be extremely difficult to discern evil hearts because their intention is to look good, not be good. The sociopaths do not always have a covetous nature. Some are very differently motivated. Rapping away goes the day, spatted, but when lack of conscious or covetousness occur together in the same individual, purple, a snapple, razzle, a dazzle, a fascinating and frightening picture emerges, since it is simply not possible, a razzle, a dazzle, to steal and have for oneself the most valuable possessions of another person. I'm hurting a beautiful beauty, intelligence, success, a strong character of a covetous sociopath settles for besmirching or damaging inviolable qualities, rapid monopoly, sloppity, floppity, and others, so that they will not have them either, or at least not be able to enjoy them so much. The absolute self-involvement of sociopathy creates an individual consciousness, relentless as spit and aspatus, that is aware of every little ache. Away goes the day and twitch in the body, karate, the ice demon inside me. I never want you to leave me, my darling, the ice demon says inside me. Every passing sensation in the head and chest and ears, drinking up beer, that orient with acute personalized concern to every radio ratio and a television report about everything from bedbugs to ricin, because the concerns spent for truth and beauty be to this urn and awareness are geared exclusively toward himself. Perhaps in the shelf, the person without conscience sometimes lives in a state of hypochondriacal reactions that would make even the most fretful, anxiety, neurotic appear rational. Getting a paper cut is a major event, and a cold sore is the beginning of the end. Sociopaths sometimes use their hydrochondrias as a strategy to get out of doing work spent. And I haven't heard one moment they are fine, but then it is time to pay the bills or look for a job or help a friend move to a new apartment, spend a harm, and suddenly they have chest pains or a limp, and imaginary medical concerns and infirmities often secure a special treatment, spit semen, such as one last chair in an overcrowded room, rhyming for my rhyming or rapping a tomb, my apartment rhyming a tomb, spitting to you. Sociopaths are often described as being unfeeling towards others, and selfishly pursuing their own needs and using aggression to get what they want. Despite a vague sense that sociopathy denotes a serious antisocial behavior, no separate, validated assessment instrument for sociopathy exists. Spent rapidly for all of eternity, infinity. Twixt the infinite me. I think a lot of psychopaths are just geniuses who drove so fast that they lost control, spit and swallowed me whole. It strikes me profoundly that the world is more often than not a bad and cruel place. Away goes the day. He lives down in a rib cage in the dry leaves of the heart. Then from afar, parents who discipline their child by discussing the consequences, subconscious of their actions, produce children who have a better moral development compared to children whose parents are authoritarian methods of punishment. Prisons are full of sociopaths and psychopaths, but when questioned in prison, sociopaths will honestly admit that they will commit another crimes to help a friend. Again. And I'm an intelligent sociopath. I don't have problems with drugs, pulling all the plugs I don't commit crimes, rhyme. I don't take pleasure in hurting people. Purple is Snapple, and I don't typically have relationship problems. Or got problems, I got them. I do have a complete lack of empathy, but I consider that an advantage most of the time, rhyme. Do I know the difference between right and wrong? Spent taking hits from the bomb, pass it along, and I want to be good. Spend sure a peaceful and orderly world. Spends in the worlds and the twirls is a more comfortable world. Spends in the worlds and the swirls and the twirls for me to live and during and so do I avoid breaking the law because it's right. I avoid breaking the law because it makes sense. Rapping, I spat. You who call women fair sex, you may repress and deny all you want, but some of us were born with a howling void, annoy, where our souls should sway. Away goes the day. The world, viewed philosophically, remains a series of slave camps where citizens rapping tax livestock, labor under the chains of illusion in the service of their masters, a poetry master rapper forever. It is so easy at times for a lonely individual to begin fantasizing about what people outside are saying about him, and in result, irrationally and fearfully, and sometimes angrily, fancy himself a villain, rapping a villain, spitting a villain.